And it is a big card, J-Bond, at
Big.
Melton. It's a big. I mean, we've got some huge race. All of the tough times aside for a moment, Jace. One of the things the industry's got here in Victoria at the moment to be really excited and proud of is some bloody exciting superstars coming through the ranks. A couple of really nice young
What
players.
a cop-out superstar. No.
Leap to fame.
Well, it is the smoking up sprint, and I think we need to put to one side. It's $50,000. It shouldn't be. I've always advocated for the fact that the smoking up sprint should nearly be Victoria's Miracle Mile.
Well, this was the Legends Mile once upon a time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And it was then it was the smoking up sprint.
Yeah,
and
because he won.
I agree. We don't have a sprint. This is our sprint. Yeah.
And the word probably the most disappointing part about it is when you and I reference that race in just a moment. What I'm meant to por favor, we're going to be talking about it as a lead up to the Victoria Cup.
We will,
but we should be talking about it as two massive races. This and then that.
Yeah.
Because right here, and I've said this for a fair while, and it's beautifully played out. 1,720 metres. He's won a Miracle Mile, but 1,720 metres is probably the one time that Leap to Fame is in any way vulnerable. And then drew him out of gate 7.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you've got just this intriguing, magnificent. This is the best race held in Victoria for, many, many, many months.
Yeah.
And you've got Catch a Wave, who's arguably, the second best going around. I said that a while back, but, he's right up there, obviously.
He's brilliant. He's a grand final horse.
And he loves a mile. And he's drawn better. And all of a sudden, then you can press them. And I'll be honest with you, when we get to that race, and people may giggle at this, there is the potential for a blowout here.
Yeah, I don't disagree. But I'm looking for... I haven't done the form.
Depending on how...
But when I had a quick glance, I did think he's no certainty. And I'm really looking forward to picking your brain, Jace, to see who some of the blowout results could be. Quick look back at recent history. It was this time 2 years ago when Bulletproof Boy didn't get a start in the Vic Cup. Was that right? After he won the Smoking Up Sprint? I think it was, yeah. When you won the Smoking Up Sprint, didn't get a start in the Vic Cup.
It used to be the Popular Arms Sprint that used to be the elite.
My name is Jeff. Did it get a start? My name is Jeff. I think a Sydney horse might have got in ahead of it. I can't remember. It might have been a different horse. Anyway, he's gone on to do a bloody good job in the next couple of years. But here he is now. He's not even getting a start this year in the Smoking Up Sprint, old Bulletproof Boy. Barrier 11.
It's a hell of a race. It is a hell of a race. Oh,
it is a great race. But the first race, J-Bond, is the Dynamic Print Group Trotters Free For All. And this also is a bloody good race because we're seeing Rocking with Attitude stepping up against open class, fast class horses for the first time. I'm intrigued at your thoughts here around gate speed because you look at Rocking with Attitude, I'm Ready Jet, Queen Elida even, Imperial Monarch, probably to a lesser extent. In fact, scrap that. Kiyang Stuka gets out really fast. But
Imperial Monarch gets out. Track. Imperial Monarch can get out very well also.
Yep.
Oh, pretty well.
Talk to me, Bond. What are you thinking from a map point of view?
Well, there's a couple of keys here. So, Rockin' with Attitude. Exalted's pretty quick, but you think Rockin' with Attitude will get on by. Rockin' with Attitude has been unbelievable going through her age-restricted career and is now thrown in the deep end.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's very deep. This is a very deep pool. I don't know that they'd want to hold the lead, but it depends who comes. Well, no, I'll say there will be a sit-taking situation here. Queen Elida is very interesting because I think there's a reasonable amount of evidence she doesn't go quite as well when you use her off the gate. Mm. But if she's not used off the gate here, is she any hope of winning? The one thing that we do know is Since I'm Ready Jet was transferred to the stables of Andrew Patrick Gath, APG. They've met twice, Queen Elida, where Queen Elida has led, and on both occasions, I'm Ready Jet has beaten Queen Elida home. Once first and second, and then last start, of course, Kiyang Chucky got over both of them, but I'm Ready Jet crushed Queen Elida. So an interesting decision to be made there. But I'll be honest with you, and I'm not taking anything away from you, Coach, because your little the pirate and call me the breeze, Multi, the windy pirate that you are.
Missed the $12 though. It opened at $12 ARG, but I was happy to take 6 because I still thought it should have been a lot shorter. But yes,
but I have said on a number of occasions, and I stick very strong to this belief that while the trotting gate has evolved significantly, very, very good trotters, the elite ones, the ones that are going better and are in great form, find ways to win that are far less map dependent than paces. So much so, we'll get to my my little staggered multis later, but I think it opened at $1.90, $1.95 on Ready Jet. I backed it at $1.85 in the multi. It's now down to $1.60. I just think, hell or high water, no matter how this is run, I'm Ready Jet just has something on these at the moment. Yeah. I'm declaring it.
Yep. Love it. I'm with you pretty much, Jace. I think Rocking with Attitude will cross Exalted. I think I'm Ready Jet will find the pegs. Despite all the speed, it could be one of those races where there's lots of speed, but that's sort of how it lobs. I'm a massive fan of 2 trotters here from Terang. I've been making that really clear. Imperial Monarch and Kiyang Stuka. They are both terrific horses. They're both stepping up here. They're both massive odds. I'll say I haven't done the form for this race, but
what are they?
$41 for Imperial Monarch, who's got a big picket fence next to it, and $51 for Stuka. Look, I think I'm Ready Jet wins, so I think there's a monopoly on the winning position, but you're getting $6 fixed odds to place about Stuka and $5 Monarch. Again, I'll keep saying I haven't done the form yet. Maybe I'll change my mind once I really put it all down on paper. I suppose if I'm Ready Jet's in front, Rocking with Attitude probably runs a place. And then you've got RC Phoenix, I suppose, and Exalted 3 pegs. RC Phoenix. Maybe there's not an opportunity for those horses off the pegs stepping up, J-Bond, to win or place. I don't know, but
well, I tend to think I'll try and give you something to hold on to here, because I believe in both very nice horses, but I believe the Monarch is significantly better than Stuka.
Yes, I think so too.
And the only little possibility here, you still don't want to be off the pegs, of course, but if I'm Ready Jet just decides not to get involved early, Rockin' leads, hands up to a lighter, Imperial Monarch is actually quick enough that he can get around. It's in the breeze for 70 metres, and then I'm Ready Jet comes around and gives it cover.
Yeah.
And from the 1-1, I'd be much more inclined to back it a place than Stuka, because I think Stuka has to go back.
Yes, I think.
And when you go back here, you're going to be a long way off them. But the critical key here as well is, I think I'm Ready Jet can win either through brutality and stamina or speed, but I would prefer the success was achieved through speed. I think you can just sit quietly outside Queen Lighter, if Queen Lighter leads, do not march, and I think it can crush it in 400 metres as easily as crushing it in 800 metres, if you know what I mean. And what that also does, Kiyang Chuck is very, very good, but it takes, an Olivici or an RC Phoenix or a blowout out of the equation if you don't press the button too soon.
Yeah.
If you get my drift. If you pick it up what I'm putting down.
I'm 100%. I'm all in on I'm Ready Jet.
Yep.
I think Imperial Monarch, is better than Stuka. When I say I'm not totally convinced just yet, it's because I think Stuka's still improving too, and they're both on the up. But Monarch,
fun name to say.
Monarch hasn't lost, Jay, since that night where it galloped and lost about 80 metres or whatever it was and won. It hasn't lost since that night back in May.
Yeah.
Terrific trotter, but big odds. But yeah, look, I'm Ready Jet to me just maps beautifully. Dave Miles, the interesting one. If he decides to lead and hold lead and just, you know what I mean? That'd be interesting.
Yeah, I do believe it's unlikely to happen, but yes.
Probably. But I don't know, he's done it, he's driven it incredibly tough before.
I think I'm Ready Jet. It's the same thing with, there's a number of runners in this race. When you're stepping up to the elite, it's just a different kettle of fish. Don't worry about times. I just think if Rockin' with Attitude did lead, I'm Ready Jet would ultimately put it to bed. And that's no knock on Rockin' with Attitude. That's just how well I believe I'm Ready Jet's going at the moment and how good she is.
Fair call. Race 2, J Bond. So it's a good summary of race number 1. Race 2, the Smoking Up Sprint. We see another, as we've talked about, cracking bunch of horses going around here. And as we haven't mentioned the tab odds, actually. Leap to Fame opened $1.70 into $1.60. Catch a Wave, yeah. 320 to 370. Captain Ravishing. Hasn't Freddie Typer got this horse firing since it's come back, Jace? $9.50. It was brilliant first up against Jan Buckian. And look, yeah, you're going to give me some roughies here. You've got Curly James, the pole, $12. Can't find a better man. If you want to have a little sing there, Jace, $34.
Love Belgium. I'm going to see that. I'm going to double my career concerts at the end of the year. Coldplay, Killers, and Pearl Jam.
I got the Whitlams tomorrow night. That'll be good. 25 years since Love This City.
You're going to blow up the pugs. Race 2. So we'll probably spend the most time on this, but it's one race that I'm not keen to play in. I always like that comparison. So you've got I'm Ready Jet at $1.60, and you've got Leap to Fame at $1.60. I know which one I'd prefer, and for various reasons. I think Leap to Fame's come down by the Frog and Toad, I believe. Bigger fish to fry next week. It'd be a wonderful sight. It'd be beautiful. It'd be poetic to watch him just go out and crush them. But I don't feel I need to have a bet at $1.60 to enjoy the spectacle, personally. Yeah. Catch a Wave loves this situation. The question is, Catch a Wave, particularly drawn wide, used to seem like one of the quickest horses out of the gate you'd ever see. Is he quite as quick these days, or do they press the button with him the same way these days? Because Mac Dan might be able to get across the lot. Catch a Wave might just get the lead. Leap to Fame will be on the scene regardless, within, a few hundred metres. And then it's just a matter of whether Leap to Fame's got that champion quality where you think that he could just brutalise here and then turn up next week and brutalise again, and it just wouldn't worry him. Gives zero Farcari rugs. But again, I don't want to take the $1.60. Catch a Wave's a danger. The blowouts I'm talking about, it's probably less for a win and more for the drum. Perfect Class is going to get a nice economical run somewhere. And if Catch a Wave was just to lead outright, I think if he got out to $4 a drum, and there's one here, take away one run, and one of your mates, Captain Hammerhead, if they do just go brutal for some reason, or the other possibility is Catch a Wave. If there's one little chink in Catch a Wave's armour, we know that he can daydream and stargaze a little bit. There's one way of potentially precluding that, and that is just if they led.
Yep.
It sounds weird to say run along because that sounds like it's bringing Leap to Fame into it. But Catch a Wave might just lead and go foot flat to the floor so that he doesn't get a chance to have a think about it, and it might just bring one in, like a Captain Ravishing or a Captain Hammerhead.
It's a funny one. I know it's a $50,000 race and it's not to be sneezed at, but who does not care about the Vic Cup when it comes to intent and winning this race, J-Bond? Who chances their arm and says, I don't give a stuff about next week. This is my opportunity.
Probably still most of them because they know they won't win the Vic Cup either. Is that fair to say?
I suppose, but it's still, well, you're probably right. Yeah, it's a psychological thing, I guess, that, you're probably right, though. If there's money to be made, win it this week, this is our opportunity. Yeah, fair call. So, but I guess, but my point, though, is surely at what point, maybe they all brutalise each other, then it doesn't matter, and Larry sits back.
Well, to be honest, Larry is probably the only one who, he's the one who cares the least, because this sounds a little bit off Broadway as well, but Andy might be looking at this for Catch a Wave as well as a way to stamp an imprimatur.
Maybe he's a grand final horse, Catch a Wave, isn't he?
It is.
And he always finds a way on grand final. Maybe there's two grand finals here. It's the Smoking Up Sprint into the Vic Cup. It's funny to say he's actually underrated. I've backed him confidently that recently up in Sydney, got $6 or $7. Couldn't believe it, Jace. The amount of times you get a good price about Catch a Wave. He's actually underrated. Funnily enough. No, but he is.
Well, who said it? Was it Dan Malecki, I think, said he drifts every single time. Late.
It's extraordinary.
But there's a thing about Catch a Wave. I think he's probably started extremely short odds a few times when he's been beaten.
Right.
And I think that's a contributing factor. The key here is that 1,720 metres is his wheelhouse. He's extremely fast. We know that. He's an outstanding horse. Leap to Fame's a freak. But if Leap to Fame, as we've already mentioned, if Leap to Fame is going to be vulnerable, it'll be here, which would make it all the more magnificent if he just goes out and destroys them. But if he does, it's going to make the Victoria Cup a very unusual betting race, I would imagine.
Great summary. That's the Highland Harness Colours Smoking Up Sprint. Can't wait to see how it plays out. I don't think I'll be betting in the race, but I'll be certainly watching because it's a fun race on paper. We kick off now with two very interesting Derby heats, Jason. I say very interesting because it's 2760. It's like it's a distance that we never, ever, ever see. And all of a sudden, here it is, the 2,760-metre trip for 3-year-olds. And there's gate speed galore on paper here, J-Bon. My quick notes haven't not done form. Gate speed galore. Initially, you look at it, you think some American finds the pegs first. Then you look at Ravishing Sloy, and I know you rate that horse's gate speed like a fireball. He's from Heaven, gets out quick, but probably won't be pinging to the pegs. Media Moth is unbeaten and led from 7 last time out, but probably not the case here. Mickey to Success coming off a Vic Bred Super Series win. And a fantastic night for Jackie Barker, which was just brilliant to see. And then for some reason, Jason, I'll keep saying it, I haven't done the form yet. But to me, when I look at all the ways this could play out, even if it's a procession, whatever, doesn't bother me. There's one horse over the long trip that I want to be on, and it's Mickey to Success. I think it'll just keep coming, keep staying. To stay, Jason.
You think so? But I think so. The only difference is, and we've seen this in the past, you can be a stayer over a middle trip or a short trip and not over a long trip. But you're not a stayer then, are you? You're not really a stayer. Well, Northerly didn't win a Melbourne Cup.
No, but he wasn't a stayer though, was he? He was a middle distance horse.
He was a staying middle trip horse. He used to crush them. The Fighting Tiger used to eat them alive.
Yeah, but did he win 2,400? Did he win a Caulfield?
Yeah, he beat Fields of Omar.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's a middle distance.
Got beaten by Freemason in a BMW, I think.
He's a middle distance / stayer, a bit different to a Vow and Declare type.
All right. So you're probably right. I like Mickey to Success. And yes, I did back him on Vic Bred Super Series night. He did the right thing by me. But I just really like the horse. There's only 2 horses, I think, who can get across to the pegs first here, probably. And there's some American and Ravishing Sloy you've already mentioned. Ravishing Sloy, you would imagine, would take a trail from there. Some American, after a terrific performance in front in the Super Series final, may opt to hold the lead. Kingman, does it have to make a move? Probably. I just think Mickey to Success is going to end up in a beautiful spot again. And a little bit of pressure, peels out, runs over the top of them. I think that Kingman is the major danger, and some American I give some little hope. I don't see any other horse winning. I think He's from Heaven's pretty short. I can't see it winning from there, personally.
I couldn't see it winning when it galloped that night, but it still did.
Yeah, this is higher grade than that, in my opinion. So
it is.
From out there, no.
Safer?
3 winning hopes.
What about Safer? Do you know anything about Safer, Jace?
Yeah, I know it won't be winning.
Yep, fair call. All right. Sergeant Lou too. I did make the point going into that Vic Bred final that it was not going anywhere near as well as it could have been, Jason. And I was very worried when I heard the stable come out and say, no, he'll absolutely be ready to rock and roll. Or it was Mick Bellman. Someone said it. He didn't really fire there, Jason. He's a better horse than he's going. He was a better horse last time in.
Funnily enough, I was questioning his middle trip prowess because his best races have mostly come over a mile. Well, now we're 2760 from wide on the second row. So good horse, Sergeant Lou, but I don't think he'll be saluting. The Sergeant won't be saluting.
I'm not going to write Sergeant Lou off ever. He's still one of my favourites, funnily enough. I've potted him through Vic Bred, but I actually think he's going to be a very, very nice racehorse. I am so keen after hearing your summation, having not even done the form. I'm really keen to back Mickey to Success. The only disappointing thing is J-Bon opened $5 into 380, so we're not getting top fluck. But then again, you never do you?
I only got 380.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe I'll have a go at 380. Race 4, the second of the Derby heats. There's one here that I'm really intrigued about, and I'm looking forward to seeing. I won't name it. Let's see if you can. We'll play this little game we played, J-Bon, where I'm intrigued by one, and you try and guess who it is.
You're intrigued by Nathan Street.
100%. Well done. Ka-ching, ka-ching. I'm very intrigued by Nathan Street. Trialled the house down here in 2 Victorian trials, and then went to the Riverina when was up against it and ran a pretty good race. Now draws pole here and over a long trip. I'm really keen to see how it plays out. All that said, it looks like Bay of Biscay at $1.50 would be hard to beat in front.
Well, I've got 4. When you see my multis a little bit later, I've got 4 locks or pseudo locks. They're the ones that. So I'm ready, Jet, and there's a couple in the last 2 races. I think everyone will have already worked out. And Bay of Biscay is the other one. If I can see a little vulnerability, it might be Bay of Biscay. But I've already written my blurb spiels, and the more I wrote, there's only 2 dangers: Nathan Street and Best Deal. Nothing else can win the race, in my opinion. Yep. Nathan Street, will the pole even end up being a good draw? Could be, maybe not. Can do things wrong. It's one that, on its very best day, is obviously outstanding, but it's up against an army here as well.
And we've only seen him in Victoria a couple of times, and when he's been here, he's jumped off stride a couple of times.
That's what I mean. He can do things wrong. Gate one's always the best for that. Best Deal, I think, only chance of winning would be to lead, and I don't think that will happen. So I'm left with Bay. I'm left with Bay of Biscay. I backed it. It was one of a couple of runners that I backed in the Eureka. It went massive.
Huge.
He still doesn't quite appeal as a horse who'll always win when you expect him to win.
Yeah.
But $1.55. It's real short, but no, I'm with it. Bay of Biscay should be winning, and I think Nathan Street, you've already mentioned, and Best Deal would be your likely place getters if you want to play a money race, because then you're going down to, like, with all due respect, no, not the Buttons, Komodo, Brandisman, lovely horses, but I can't see them threatening. So it's a 3-horse race, and hopefully, ultimately, a 1-horse race, Mr. Vinal.
Yeah, I agree with you. $1.50 probably, when you look at it in a heat, it's probably not that bad. And you go, starting to. It's not that bad, is it? When you think about it, you're getting 50 cents in your dollar. It should be. It should be.
You'd like more.
Of course,
we'd always like more.
That run in the Eureka was important for the current race makeup, Jace, because I've always had my doubts about 3-year-olds, elite 3-year-olds against elite 4-year-olds, but he was massive. It was a huge run, and I think he's got class on his side. So looking forward to these multis too, seeing them later on, because as we've said in the earlier in the show, J-Bond, some of these are big odds when you cobble them all together. So I'm looking forward to seeing how you play it. Race 5.
Like Daniel Day-Lewis.
It is. It's like your Brownlow approach, Jace, which we talked about last episode.
Very similar.
The quaddie and the pod quad, kicks off with race 5. The pod squad is race 5. The pod quad. The odd quad. No, the pod quad, which of course we've been doing for a while, J-Bond, kicks off in race number 5. It's the Pride's Easy Feed Victoria Oaks first heat. And my little note here just says this: RDB Mickey must be one of the absolute top seeds of the series. Genuinely exciting filly. I loved what this filly did up in Queensland fairly recently. But then the only other note I made is that Kiss is damn tough and suspect she'll absolutely relish the marathon conditions. So they're my 2 notes, J-Bond, without having done the form. Love RDB Mickey, but Kiss is tough as teak.
Well, again, we'll get to the multis, the Brownlow style multis for this meeting a bit later. I'm taking on RDB Mickey.
Oh, hello.
Very, very quick. Off the gate. Guaranteed to find the front. I'm not convinced.
Sure.
Very quick. Eureka Joe's pretty quick. Eureka Joe comfortably held elusive, who flies the gate recently in a qualifier for the Vic Pret Super Series. I'm taking it on. No matter what the price, I'll be taking it on, but it's $2.40, right? In 2 runs in Queensland, so an aggregate of the Southeast Oaks and the Queensland Oaks, it looked like diamonds by 5 point something meters if you take both. Look like diamonds is very good, but it's $11 here. And I think Kiss and Draw a Dream are better. I think if you forget Draw a Dream, I pseudo predicted this, even though I didn't with my money. Give the man his money. The Draw a Dream could have been flattened for the Vic Bread Super Series final because of everything that transpired on semi-final night, and she raced really flat. If you just put that run out of your mind, I think she's the best in the race. And I reckon Kiss from gate one will be very, very interesting because, yeah, she hasn't appeared to have great gate speed, but you just might find a little bit more from here. And as long as she's able to get into the clear, I just feel like one of the, well, not Vague Beauty, but one of the other three Emma Stewart runners will win. And Eureka Joe's the other one I give a little hope to, because Eureka Joe is just sitting there waiting, just missing. But there will come a time, whether it's Saturday night or down the track, where she'll just be in the right spot at the right time. Everything will work out and she'll actually beat the bigger name rivals and stablemates. So I'm taking on RDB Mickey.
Yep.
And I think Draw a Dream and Kiss are the two big dogs, and then Eureka Joe just behind them, personally. But I could be wrong.
No, I love your summation. Again, as I said there, that for me it was Kiss at first glance and RDB Mickey, but of course I haven't done the form yet. And it's interesting you make that point about look like diamonds. A quick glance now at that Queensland Oaks race, and I do recall now, I remember Artie had to come from a pretty tricky position but was able to extricate and win. Meanwhile, we look at what look like diamonds did all the work and fought on like a tiger. And then you consider look like diamonds straight up head to head versus Kiss versus Eureka Joe, and all of a sudden it starts playing little tricks, doesn't it, Jace, on your first glance? It's very interesting.
I've already been through those tricks, and I've come up with
I want
tricky
to
solution.
One more horse, and I know I follow these Terang horses pretty closely, but Jillaby Illuminate has a lot of ability, and I thought here, this one to watch at 100 to 1. No, it's not 100 to 1. $23 into 19. Jillaby Illuminate. It's a very fast horse.
Yeah,
very fast. But you've got to have the races run a certain way at this level, potentially with the makeup of the races the way they are, Jay. Sometimes
squid quad.
Yeah, look,
one quad.
Yeah, the calamari. The pod quad will go number 1 Kiss, 2 Eureka Joe, based on what you've said.
5 and 7.
5 RDB Mickey and 7 Draw a Dream. Yep, 1, 2, 5 and 7 as we ignore poor Looks Like Diamonds, who's done a magnificent job against RDB Mickey and comes out and causes an upset.
Hey, 2 of the Oaks.
Can't put them all in. Yes, and here we see Coastal Babe, who's very intriguing, J-Bon, over from New Zealand with Herbie booked, and Show Some Joy drawn the pole. And the early market, $2.15 into $1.90, Show Some Joy.
At first glance, this was one that we'll get to. Who else is in the market?
Millwood Bliss, the other one, $4.40 into 4. No respect.
No, good ones. No, actually, who knows? Who knows?
Yep. I just heard a little noise and I thought that's an interesting little noise.
Yeah, I didn't mark it that short. When I first looked at the race, at first glance, again,
yes,
I thought this is one of the easier ones, isn't it? Show Some Joy, kicks up, holds, leads, wins. And that probably happens, and the money has already come, as you've referenced. But we spoke plenty in the intro about longer distance races and all the rest. Well, the thing, it's now a rare Kiwi invader for races like this, but the Kiwis, Coastal Babe's been there and done that. Knows how to do it. I know it's only in heat, but it just complicates the issue. It's also got very good gate speed as well. And then you look, if there's any pressure, I think you might have been on Stitched Up down in the final.
I was at 150 to 1, yes.
Was she entitled to get as close as she did? No, I don't think so. And she's rapidly improving.
Yes,
all of a sudden, then I look from a multi perspective again, and I say $1.90 about Show Some Joy. I'm happy to let her win and let it go through to the keeper personally, because there's enough complicating factors here with Coastal Babe, Millwood Bliss, Stitched Up Dan, that it just becomes. And this is a critical key. I think I'm not a big multiplayer, but when you are going to play these parlays or whatever, there's no reason to force anything in. So I'm not going to force anything here. I'm letting this race go through to the keeper, and I'll be very intrigued to see how Coastal Babe goes and Stitched Up Dan and all of them, really.
Well, you've talked about punting personality, and I what I'm taking from tonight, and something you mentioned earlier. You got $1.60 about I'm Ready Jet in the first, and you've got $1.60 about leaving Larry, about Leap to Fame, leaving Larry. I've got the Seinfeld reference constantly.
Leisure Suit Larry.
And they're the same odds, but a completely different feel. They both might win, but a completely different feel, which you've outlined.
Yeah.
And that is it's a valuable little insight here from this episode, because I know you don't like multis, but I'm seeing what you mean. You've got to have a certain level of confidence.
Yes.
Right. Just to include, you got to have a certain level of confidence to have a bet, but to play a multi, it's got to be another level. Yeah.
100. Yep. And there's just no need to try and, particularly when we have a look at these prospective prices of these staggered multis, there's just no need to force another one in to try and add to the multiplier. It's pretty significant already, I can tell you.
All right, well, let's talk pod quad. 1, 2, keep
6.
6.
170.
We better put it in.
All right, 1, 2, 6, 7.
And are we leaving it at that?
Beaten. Yep.
So we're leaving 3 out. Uniquely ideal.
Yes.
Right. Race 7, J-Bon. The first of 2 pretty exciting trotters that we get to see going around. And it's the Need for Speed, Aldebaran Park Need for Speed Princess Final. And Kiyang Zahara is $1.04. It opened $1.04 and hasn't budged.
Well, look, I have been known. What do they used to call me? Boom, boom, Bono, or boom. Didn't mind talking one up and suggesting, it could be anything, and you get a couple right and you get plenty wrong. But it's hard not to look at Kiyang Zahara and not pin the entire future of Australian harness racing on Kiyang Zahara, but sort of think it's frightening how good she already is and how good she could be in a couple of years' time. And it would absolutely upset, I think, Team Lee for us to be talking about her, being an international competitor down the track. Because they're just thinking, we just want to keep her sound, and keep her winning races. But I don't think there's much discussion about whether or not she wins this race. She just does, barring accident, injury, or a natural disaster of some kind. But she is the most exciting. Leap to Fame is obviously how good he is, but I think from a marketability perspective, I'd even have Kiyang Zahara just might have. I'd be throwing, as I mentioned on the tweet after she won recently in the Group 1, I'd be promoting Kiyang Zahara with all of the 5 and 10 cent coins I've got there at HRV, and just saying we're going to mention her at every turn.
Yep. Yeah.
Second, I reckon.
I think she's amazing. I think absolutely amazing. I think she's going to be anything. And I was having a chat with someone today, Jason, and I mentioned Nupi Kiosk, who was a brilliant young trotter.
Yeah. Amazing 2-year-old.
Blitzham Calder.
Yes.
Amazing 3-year-old or 2-year-old or both.
2-year-old and 3-year-old.
Who else were the big dogs in recent times for the trotters, the baby trotters? They're the sort of the two. Nupi was the one who instantly sprung to mind.
Well, Wobbly.
Yeah, Wobbly.
2-year-old.
LJK Phoenix had a really, really good run through its 2 and 3-year-old career, I think.
They'd be the main ones, I'd reckon.
But I reckon Kiyang Zahara's got. It's a big call. Potentially.
I agree.
And that's huge.
Yeah. We can only there's no upside for saying this stuff, but it just looks like it has the potential to be the best trotter we've seen in many, many, many years.
Bloody exciting. All right, pod quad 1 out. Number 2.
And if you play, and Julie Ballerina, sticking with your
I think so.
love of the Western Districts and Terang, I think it should be running second, third at very worst, and I'd be including Nordic Rain.
Me too.
And Mouldy's Mac.
Me too. You've absolutely nailed them, and I really think that's almost
where
it. I'd draw a line. Yeah. Yep. Nordic Rain is $81. There's only a fixed odds win market available.
If they don't run Kiyang Zahara off the gate, he could just cross and then hand up to Kiyang Zahara straight away.
And then it becomes probably Zahara Ballerina / Ballerina should still run second, but I'd probably play a saver with Nordic Rain to run second.
I'm going to play a saver, Ballerina second and third. Yeah, but most for her to run second.
All right. Well, that takes us to the last race, J-Bon, the Get Out Stakes. And if you're in trouble at this point, you're just looking to back one for the win, you're probably in some strife because Derek the Jet is very, very short. My question to you, Jace, unbeaten 8 out of 8. My burning question, J-Bond, dare I say it, are you yet a convert for Derek the Jet?
Oh, no, it's not about being a convert. I just didn't win by a massive margin last time.
No, it didn't.
But where I actually feel for Derek the Jet, nothing to do with me, is that King Zahara's on the same program because both of them are undefeated.
Yep.
Derek the Jet's won one more race. Neither of them in the foreseeable future look like being defeated. Maybe until they meet each other down the track at some point.
So when do they get to clash then? Because that becomes an awesome little marketing opportunity, obviously.
But really, he's if he doesn't quite have the glamour of King Zahara, well, he's not a million miles behind, is he? And he should be every indication, small field, decent. I mean, he'll just be winning again. This is a harder way to play a money race because they're probably Kai Valley Michael deserves to be second pick, but Remus Phoenix wouldn't be a long way away, and Thunderstruck also. I'd be somehow trying to fathom up or manufacture some trifectas with Derek the Jet to win and the other three to somehow run the trifecta, but staggering them up somehow to try and get something out of it. But it's not going to be easy. Not going to be easy at all.
I'm trying to see where Remus Phoenix's gate speed is in its last 5 starts. It's not there. Maybe it's previously because, I mean, if it took advantage of barrier 2, then that tightens up your money race, but maybe it won't.
Well, Carriage's law can do things wrong and can be a bit sketchy, so there's an opportunity that it might just float into that position. True.
Derek the Jet, I just keep remembering what Nathan Jack said when he made the point that he's driven plenty of really good 2 and 3 year old trotters. A lot of them trained by Anton Galino. And you'll recall back in the day, J-Bon, you used to be able to ring drivers like Nathan or Anton and work through all the different trotters. And then they tell you, okay, after all this and that, and Dance Craze is probably the best of them, right? So he's got a pretty good feel for, not of all time, of that particular crop, right?
Yeah.
And so he's got a very good feel for these horses coming through at each age. And he made the point about Derek the Jet that this fella is right up there with the better ones that he's driven, and he's driven a lot of very, very good young.
Says it all.
It's pretty special, and that's why, as much as you put Kiyang Zahara and Derek the Jet against one another right now, what are the odds in a head-to-head match race? Ain't going to happen a match race. I don't think.
Don't make me say. I don't want to get. Don't make me.
It's simple. I won't then, but it's hard.
Zahara would be short,
but it's harsh, isn't it? Because Derek's done no wrong. Yeah. And I just think it's going to be I hope they both stay unbeaten, and I hope they do clash and we can build it up big time because I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, girl, but it's got everything. The girl versus the boy. Nathan is such a great articulate speaker and someone who can create that promotion for us, and Team Lee's the same.
We got the rock star Jason Lee and Nathan Jack. I mean, 2 of the best in the business, J-Bomb.
Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Be awesome. 1 out in the quaddie, obviously.
Yes.
So we got 1-2-5-7 into 1-2-6-7 into 2 and 3.
Yep.
We've reached that time where it's very exciting, and we get to call up J-Bond's mathematical genius work that he's put in here. It's the multis, Jace. Talk us through it.
Yeah. So there's a couple of different elements here. First of all, we'll talk about how I came up with the multis. So the theory, the staggered parlay theory, this is very similar to what I use for the Brownlow medal, and it's just a betting technique. And I want to talk about this not only for what I've done. You don't have to do what I've done. It's more of a look at what's available to you. We've all been at the tab, at the pub tab or whatever, or the retail venue, and people are like, oh, short favourites, don't want to get involved in the meeting. Well, if that is really your punting personality, okay, maybe you don't defy it. But there's no reason why you can't get a little bit creative. And you got to remember that I got $1.85 about I'm Ready Jet, but you're still going to get more than you'd think on a lot of these. So the staggered parlay, I've got 4. I've spoken about those 4 pseudo locks. They are I'm Ready Jet, Bay of Biscay,
Bob,
and King Zahara, and Derek the Jet.
Yep.
And then the other 2 races 2 and 5. Is it 3 and 5? 3 and 5. I've just staggered up the 3 winning hopes for mine, and they are in race 3, Mickey to Success.
Oh, that was Mickey MTS. Yep.
Yeah, Mickey to Success.
Kiss.
Some American and Kingman.
Yep.
And then in race 5, I've got another 3. They are Kiss, Draw a Dream, and Eureka Joe. and then I've assigned them. It's not a direct likelihood of winning, but I've weighted it more heavily towards Mickey Success, just over Kingman, and then some American. And in race 5, the first leg of the Victoria Oaks, about level between Kiss and Draw a Dream, and much less for Eureka Joe, who's at much better odds. Then, based on that, so you can look at it and say 50% into 45%, that's 95, so that's 9.5 units. And that's pretty much when you have a look at all the different multis. There's 9 of them there, and have a look at some of the prices we're getting. So you're looking at no less than 30 to 1.
You're saying a unit's $1 here. For the sake of this,
a unit can be whatever you want it to be, but in terms of the maths that I've done, yes, a unit is $1. So overall, you would spend $60.
$60, and you've got collects of 355, 426, 448, 314, and I won't name the rest. Look at them all. Big collects.
Well, 150 is the smallest collect, and that's 2.5 times your money. And the thing is,
times that by 10 if you want, or you can times it by a couple, or you can buy half. It's whatever you want. But that's $60 outlay for those collections with a lot of shorties is pretty incredible.
But the reason that I go about it this way is because I think it's relatively low risk. Yes, one of the big 4 can go under, of course. RDB Mickey maybe wins, but when you really look at it, it doesn't look like they don't look like, do they, that they should be paying that much?
No, they don't. Well, I mentioned before the show, I stuck a few of them together, and I couldn't come up with much more than $20.
Yeah.
But yeah, looking at the way you've played this, I like it. Your theory, J-Bon, and you do it with your quaddies too. It's very similar to the legendary great late Don Scott and his punting theory. Now, I've never read his books because I've never been lucky enough to get my hands on one. They go for 200, 300, 400. Oh, nice. Well, he was clearly very smart, but I do remember reading one excerpt, and it was about trifectas, and he would simply say, never box, and that's a waste of money. Yeah. Work out the best chances and then just split them into the percentages of what you think and bet accordingly. And that's exactly what you're saying with your staggers.
Yeah, and basically, like I say, they're my decisions. So the end product of those multis are my decisions. You might make different decisions, but the model works. So you might, I mentioned earlier, you might throw Leap to Fame in and take out Bay of Biscay. You might want to throw in Show Some Joy and take out I'm Ready Jet. You might only think there's only 2 locks, and then you only want to play another 2 or 3 races. But the key here is that you can pick your path. We talk about quaddies and the liquidity of the pools and how difficult it is to know what you're going to get out of it. I'm not a big multi fan, but when you stagger it like this and you can actually get it on fixed odds, that's taken away, isn't it? You know what you're capable of getting out of it. And I'm really comfortable with my choices there. But you might, again, even if you like the same 4 as me, but in the 3rd event on the program, you might even only think that Mickey's Success, Some American, and Kingman are the winning hopes. But you weight Kingman 65%. And then you weight Mickey's Success 25, whatever. But you can work it out for yourself. And I guarantee you're not going to, based on what I'm looking at, it's very unlikely you're going to come up with a losing result as long as you don't go commit Harry Carey and try and have 56 of them.
100%. It's mix and match, Jace. The old pick and mix like those chocolates where you used to be able to, I'll have 3 crunchies because I like the crunchies. I'll have one of those. By all means, take J-Bon's advice and mix and match, pick and mix.
Yes.
But I love your strategy. And that's what, you know what, J-Bon, this is what these sort of podcasts such as this are all about. We get the chance to, and we've gone a bit long tonight, so apologies for the stayers who are thinking, well, when will these guys shut up? Well, we're about to shut up. We have gone a bit long, but we get the opportunity to delve deep and have these discussions. And, you know, I'm a sicko for these discussions because I think it's great content, and I know you are too. And this was what you did back on the SEN Tuesday tutorials, deep diving. And I think there's
I just love it. You love it too. Creative punting is so enjoyable. The reason that I love trotting form more than any other type of form is because I believe trotting form is chess and thoroughbred is checkers. It is more complex and it requires more understanding, but then it's so enjoyable. Even you don't even have to have a bet, but for your own, just to check how you go, create your own mix and match and just see how they roll, and it might give you confidence to do it next time.
Well, and I'll tell you this too. There's another bet type that is like a multi, It's called a Trixie or a Canadian. These types of bets on sports bet. I don't.
What I
mind them,
bought
J-Bob.
that.
If you like sort of $5-6 shots off them, what I'll do if I've got 3 or 4 horses between $5 and $20,
Yeah.
I will always just drop $1 on the Canadian or a couple of dollars on the Trixie, because if you get a special day where all of them lob, that's a huge collect, like a lottery collect. Yeah. If only 2 of them win, well, guess what? You've still made a profit, and it's actually not. It's a fun way to do it. To have just put whatever it is, your $1 on for a Canadian's $26, and I think that's 5 horses. If every single one of them wins, it just parlays one to the other. You've got one of those combinations, all 5.
Just quickly before we say sayonara and let people relax. This is so harness racing, yes, but I use the same technique on the Brownlow, and coming up not too far away, Derby Day for the thoroughbreds. Derby Day is an ideal day for something like this, because that's the day where everything normally comes together, and you might have 4 that you really like. So these aren't code or sport specific techniques. It's something you can use everywhere.
No, I love it. I think we've covered so much territory tonight, Jace, but it's been I think a bloody enjoyable podcast. I've enjoyed this one.
Hopefully others enjoy just as much as we have, Coz.
Fingers crossed. And good luck this weekend. However you want to play it, make sure you keep checking out Harness Charity Challenge as well. Pog are doing a magnificent job keeping that going. Hopefully Bon and I can find a winner soon. And check out pacesetters.au for our full game plans going into Saturday night. Good on you, Bon.
Au revoir, mate. Doing fun.